Jay Ferruggia in the house.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
Fuck yeah, brother. It's nice to have you back on. And back on for the first time. Jumped on your show last time I was in town.
Yeah.
And then was in a little bit of a pinch for time, so didn't get to do the swap.
Right.
But we got you on now, brother.
Yeah. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, you doing good?
I'm great, man. Absolutely, yeah.
Fuck yeah, brother. So walk me through education, what got you into health and wellness, what got you into fitness, because you've been a big player in this space for a long time.
So as a kid, I was just, stereotypical skinny, weak kid, bullied, insecure, shy. And I was obsessed with sports and pro wrestling. And I'd watch Ravishing Rick Rude and Hulk Hogan, the Ultimate Warrior. Yeah.
Fucking people mention Hulk Hogan and you're like, yeah.
Yeah,
Rick Rude was the fucking man.
Exactly. He was shredded and jacked out of his mind.
With the mustache. And he had the, what was that, airbrushed fucking tights.
Airbrush paint
tights. So fucking great.
Yeah. And then he would put like his opponent's face on it, like Jake the Snake's wife or something. Yeah.
So good.
So I was like, man, I want to be like that. I want to be like this larger than life superhero. And the first kind of training I ever did was because Walter Payton was my favorite athlete. So Walter Payton used to do hill sprints all the time, and they would document that. So I was like, man,
he'd backpedal sand dunes and shit.
Yeah. So I started doing that. I started running hill sprints before I even lifted or anything like that. Because I was like, just wanted to be like Walter Payton. And then my cousin Christine, around 1987, started dating a guy named Eric Weida, who was a pro wrestler, not with WWE, but like some smaller federation. But they lived 2 houses away from us. So now I'm seeing a pro wrestler all the time. This dude's like, I'm 1987, I'm like 12, 13. I'm seeing a dude who's 6'4", 250, jacked out of his mind. So that really got me into training. My dad was trying to get me into it, but Eric was really kind of the impetus for me to start lifting all the time. And then I kind of just caught the bug, So
you started lifting at 12 or 13?
Yeah.
That's awesome. I think I started at 14. My dad got me a membership to Gold's in Santa Clara because he knew the front desk lady. And so they let me in early.
Yeah. So I was lifting all through high school and college and not really doing the right stuff. For a beginner, I go from doing absolutely nothing to a 7-day-a-week body part split for 3 hours. And so I graduated high school, same height I am now, weighing 147 pounds. And I started, but then I became obsessed in college. So I switched my major. I was originally a communications major. And then I switched over to exercise science, started interning in the weight room when I was 19. And that semester, I got sick. I'm not sure if I told you this. I actually got tuberculosis.
Oh, no shit.
Barely heard anyone ever have,
Yeah. It's like old school.
Yeah, like Doc Holliday.
Yep.
So
longer.
Yeah. So I get that, and I had to go home, take a semester off, sick as a dog. I lost, I don't know how much weight, and I had to be on medication for a year, like medication that turned my piss fire engine red. And anyway, when I came back that summer, I started that whole time off. I got my first certification, and I'm in the back of Iron Man magazine ordering all these books and courses and everything back then. So I spent like 3-4 months just learning all that. Start training people that summer when I was 19, and then 2 years later, and as I'm doing it, I'm like, I don't want to train regular people. I want to train athletes.
Yeah,
kind of just knew that. Like within a year, I was like, this is terrible, So I wanted to train athletes, but I didn't know how to get into it. And then finally, my dad was friends with a guy who his son Mike, really good wrestler and football player. Started training Mike when he was 12. So all through 8th grade, high school, college, he went on to break his school's rushing records and all that.
Wow.
And then so Mike referred me his friend Chris, who then I trained same all the way through. And Chris became the captain of the Columbia football team. And then those 2 guys sent me like a dozen other guys within 3-4 months. So then by after school every day, I would have between 50 and 75 high school kids coming in.
Damn.
They went on to college. They'd bring back more college friends. Those guys got drafted, became pros. So that was just the next 15 years, every day, just nonstop. I would still have regular people in the morning. And then my pro guys would come in like that 12 to 2 time frame. And then after school guys. So it was just like 12 hours a day for 15 years. That was basically what I did.
Damn. Yeah, it's funny because like I wanted to train the athletes too. And as an athlete, you're like, they'll do whatever you fucking say.
Yeah.
They don't question what they're doing.
Yep.
Fat people that will really need to lose the weight.
Yeah.
They're usually the ones that'll pay you.
Yeah.
The athletes usually can't pay you. So you have this balance of, I want to train the athletes and I'll do it for fucking nothing because I want to help them. And then you got the fucking other people that actually pay you. So you gotta work with them too. And
well, it's so funny because now I've been doing this for 25 years, but what you said is still true. Like high level athletes that I work with, oftentimes I'm just doing it for free because I love doing it and they're so into it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't enjoy working with non-athletes as much anymore. So I don't do it as much. You know?
Yeah. And you're into, I mean, obviously, when did you start Renegade Radio?
5 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's fucking blown up.
It's been really good. Yeah.
Who have been some of your favorite guests that you've had on?
Kyle Kingsbury, number one.
Pump.
It's always fun doing shows with people that I'm really good friends with because there's just a different level of rapport, you know? Like you and Aubrey doing or something.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So it's always fun to have Luca on, my friend Craig Ballantyne. Who else has been really good? Do you know who Steve Sims is?
No.
He wrote Blue Fishing. So he runs this organization where you, like if you want to have Ice Cube perform at your wedding, or you want to go backstage, you want to get married at the Taj Mahal, like any kind of thing, like this, like high-end concierge service.
Okay.
Like he just makes shit happen. And he's really connected. He's from Ireland. He was a bricklayer in Ireland.
Wow.
And like his way of thinking is really unique and fascinating. You'd like him. He's here in LA.
Damn.
I'll have to introduce you.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, great guy. It's funny. I just ran into him at LAX the other day. He was like, I didn't really know that much about him. I just read his book. I was like, let me have him over. Great guy.
Yeah. That's awesome.
There's some other surprise guests. Trying to think who else you would really like. I'm drawing a blank right now.
Well, I asked that because like for me in podcasting, it's been similar to you in training, and I don't, maybe it's the same for you in podcasting as well, but it's like you meet a great guest and you hit it off, you have a great podcast, it does well for that person, so it feeds both people.
Yeah.
And then that guest will lead you to 3 or 4 more awesome guests. And then each one of those, like we had Chris Bell on, he's given me 4 fucking amazing people that are all super close now.
Totally.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so like, and then those people give more, right? So it just feeds itself like a pyramid. Almost like a shitty pyramid scheme, like an MLM, you know? But like, but they're
100%.
constantly, you know, like you have a great guest and they're like, fuck, that was an awesome show. You know who'd be great for your show? And they fucking feed you more guys, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's happened with some of the WWE guys that I've had on where some of I was friends with before, some I wasn't. And then some you're just blown away, right? Like, you know who Cesaro is?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Cesaro, that was the first time we met when we did the show. Now we become friends. But based on Cesaro's on-screen character, I had a prejudgment of what he's going to be like. Even though my friend Becky and other people told me like Cesaro's the best, like you just don't know, right?
Yeah.
Cesaro comes over, we hang out for 4 hours. Before we even film a show, we're talking. And then we do the show, we're talking for another hour, and we are just crying, laughing, and he's just such a great dude. So then he kind of, you know, said the same to other WWE guys, like, you got to go on Jay's podcast. It's awesome. So that kind of experience is great.
Yeah, that's awesome, brother. Yeah. Chris actually wrote for WWE. I didn't realize this because he does documentaries and I love his documentaries, but he was like, I was a writer for Vince and we're riding around a limo. It's me, Vince, and Hulk. And I was like, get the fuck out of here. Are you kidding me? It's just crazy to think about shit like that.
Yeah.
You know? Well, you asked me a great question that I really appreciated was, how has my training changed now since I was a fighter? And obviously, anybody who stays in the game long enough, there's an arc to how you get into stuff. And I know that I think a lot of people that get into fitness, especially if you're over the age of 30, were heavily influenced by bodybuilding magazines coming up, training splits, Darren Charles 21-inch arm routine.
Darren Charles.
Yeah. Darren to grow.
Yeah. Oh, that's
like
such
that.
a great name. It's funny. I got to use that because I have a friend. He's my age, and we all just jokingly breaking each other's balls about being old school meatheads. We'll pull out names like Bob Paris and Sean Ray and stuff. I forgot about that. It's a good one.
Yeah, he's a good one, right? He had some fucking guns.
Yeah.
But like that kind of was the influence and the impetus for people to really get into it. And I have hella gratitude for that. Like we just bought a fucking, you remember the famous pic of Arnold on Venice Beach and he's looking over at Franco and Franco Colombo's hanging upside down on a pull-up bar with his feet on the pull-up bar doing a little lat spread.
Totally.
That's the best, right? Yeah. So I just got that on a hoodie for Tosh at one of these little custom Venice shops.
Yeah.
But so I have hella gratitude for that. Even though when I think one of the biggest shifts for me has been training movement, not muscle groups, right? Because that translates to sports, athleticism. and more rehab and healing, right? So like how we actually move better, that translates. So how has training changed for you from, the original impetus of getting it in with fitness and to where it is now?
Yeah, probably similar to you, same thing. Like it was all bodybuilding and all splits at the beginning for a long time. And then I went through just a journey of eventually what got me away from that was the old stuff in the back of Iron Man magazine. I was able to get some, there was a site, Bill Hinburn was the guy's name, and he started this site where you could buy all the old 1900 stuff like Saxon and Hack and Schmidt, and then even the stuff from like the 60s and 70s like Anthony DiTillo and John McCallum.
Are these like books or like actual equipment, like the old the single made welded bar? The balls on the steel balls, like strongman with a singlet on and a fucking, he's doing the one arm snatch.
Yeah, I would love to have one of those. But no, just kind of learning some more of that kind of stuff. So I started doing that. And the way it's evolved now, like I got into, you did the same thing, I think like a West Side phase for a while, right?
Yep. Conjugate method.
Yeah, for a long time, that's how I trained a lot of my athletes. We would have a heavy upper body day, a heavy lower body day, and then a speed and a rep day, and then like more of a strongman based day was day 4.
I like that.
And we did that for years. And over time, I would, continue to make it a little bit safer. But nowadays, it's really more like you said. There's still a focus on strength and hypertrophy and whatnot, but I want it to be safe first and foremost. I want to think about, is it sustainable? Is it going to help with longevity? And you like to do stuff. You like to surf. You're not still fighting competitively, but you're going to be doing stuff, right? So I look at everybody like that. Like I want you to be fresh. I want your CNS to be fresh. I don't want you to be sore. I don't want excessive spinal compression, joint degradation. So I want you to be ready, always ready at all times. So doing a body part split where you crush 12 to 15 sets for back or chest, like that doesn't do that. You're always super sore. So if you want to go swim or surf or play ball the next day, like you're like,
one part of your body's fucked.
Yeah, you're destroyed. Yeah. So I tend to favor more full body workouts, or at least like an upper lower split, or I might even combine the two. Like if you say to me, hey, I like to lift 4 days a week, I might go upper lower full and something like that. But again, I tend to focus on exercises where we can do something that's going to build strength, size, mobility, and stability all in the same thing. So instead of having to do like a speed exercise, a strength exercise, hypertrophy, and then spend an hour doing mobility stuff, if we can do a single leg RDL, you're barefoot, we go down in 5 seconds, then I have you hold, and you're adjusting your positioning the whole time. I'm coaching you through every second of it. Then we hold it for 5 seconds in the bottom position. Everything that's doing, we're covering all that with one exercise.
Yeah.
So you're getting your mobility, your stability, your strength, your flexibility, hypertrophy, everything in that. So I try to do more bang for your buck stuff like that, more controlled movements. So like a typical workout might be, we start with some throws or box jumps, and then maybe I'll do a circuit of a push, a pull, lower body exercise, and then finish with farmer's walks or something like that.
Yeah, just like a basic overall strength.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Shit, what was I thinking here? Oh, on that stiff leg RDL. There was, I think the first time I heard of that kind of idea that you could build mobility and strength at the same time was from Coach Sumners on the Tim Ferriss podcast.
Okay. The gymnastics guy, right?
Yeah, gymnastics bodies.
Sommer.
Yeah. And so like he would talk about the Jefferson Curl deadlift, right? Where you get on a box or a bench and then you have the barbell and the goal is to go past your feet with your wrists, and it's vertebrae by vertebrae like you would in yoga class, right? But it's weighted with your legs locked out. And as you do that, you are building mobility. And you talked about it in a way that really struck home with me, because it was like, if you passively stretch, and I'm holding myself in a stretch, that's a way to open up the body, but there's no strength involved there because the nervous system is shut off. You're actually coaching yourself to turn your nervous system off so you can stretch further.
Yeah, so now you're more likely to get injured.
Exactly.
You need to build strength in that end range.
Yeah, brother. Yeah. So like getting into that, and I think Pavel's DVD, God, he has so many of them, Relax into Stretch. Where they have like, like you could just use just the bar on your back with a side trying to do like the middle splits. But, you have your legs out at a 45 or however far you can put them out, and then slowly leaning forward into that.
And kind of doing contract, relax.
Yep. And just getting into that, like that little oscillating not bouncing, but like, you know, I contract and relax into it, and just really like having extended periods of time where I'm stretching, but also focusing on mobility in the lift.
Yeah.
And that's something Jesse Burdick does a really good job of. I don't know if you ever had him on.
I haven't, no.
Fucking awesome. And that's the guy who got me into conjugate method. But he's up in NorCal, man. He'd be great. And yeah, I remember that because it was like he was adding depth to my squat and I was getting significantly stronger at the same time. And it was consistent. We would vary, you know, you do all sorts of different shit, you know, like we had Bluetooth squats where we have like a buffalo bar or you know, like one of those safety squat bars, the SS yoke bar, and there's no hands and we're doing box squats, but our fucking feet are like 4 inches apart.
Oh, wow.
You know, like super close, super wide, West Side style, you know, like just varying. Like it was always something different if it was the same movement pattern. Right. So I like things like that because it keeps it fresh. But then at the same time, like, let's challenge your depth. You know, we did death by deficit deadlifts. Okay. So we had like a 2-inch mat that we would deadlift off of. And then once we got up to our working weight, we just kept adding a fucking 2-inch mat until our feet could barely fit under the bar, you know, with that same weight. And it was like, oh, we'll see if we can get it or not. I don't know, you know, but like keeping tight, using everything correctly. I think those are fun workouts. What do you do people fucking hate cardio, and myself included. And I got burnt out by it in fighting because we did so many high intensity intervals. But you and I both know, like, high intensity interval training is one of the fastest ways to burn fat, and it also translates to sports well. How do you implement? Do you implement cardio, or is it more? I mean, for your athletes, obviously, it's something they got to work on. Yeah. Do you do more of a balanced approach where you have maybe a long, slow endurance day, and then, or do you leave that to the sport itself, and then do you get into like a high intensity interval stuff? Like, how do you frame that?
So the answer is yes, all the above. Yeah. So first of all, I'll say to non-athletes, to normal people, that you said high intensity interval is one of the best ways to burn fat. I agree. It's also one of the best ways to burn yourself out. Yeah. By overdoing it. Yeah. So most people just go high intensity. Everything's high intensity all the time. And that's not good because our lives are high intensity all the time. Like being on your phone is a stress. Like everything we do is unnatural. Being inside these lights, that's all unnatural. You're stressed out. You're working too much. You're not sleeping enough. You might be, let's say you're negotiating a new contract, or you're breaking up with your girl, whatever happens. Those are all stressors. So if everything you do is high intensity in the gym, not a good idea. So I try to limit the high intensity stuff. So I think most people can do 3 to 4 high intensity days a week of everything included, you know?
And that's anything. That could be weight training. It could be cardio based. It could be just whatever it is. It could be body weight. But if it's high intensity, that's limited.
Yeah, for most people, even start with 3. So, and I like the old Charlie Francis approach of for those who don't know, he was an Olympic sprint coach and a lot of strength.
Ben Johnson's coach,
exactly.
Canadian, amazing.
Yeah. So his thing was high low. So if you do a high intensity day, you can do low intensity stuff like tempo runs or whatever the next day. So I really like that as a general concept. So let's say we do high intensity stuff Monday. Now we might do some jumps or Olympic lifts. That's going to be high intensity. Maybe we'll do some heavy lifting. That's high intensity. And then a finisher, where you're going to do some of the HIIT training. Maybe we'll jump on the Airdyne. Maybe we'll do some sled sprints, whatever it might be. And I'll always err on the side of doing less and less. You know, that's a better, like that's Charlie's approach too. So, you know, the average person's going in and doing like 20 sprints or so. That's crazy. Do 4 to 5, you know,
with ample rest in between. So they're actual sprints.
Yeah. So that's the thing, right? Like if you look at how an Olympic sprinter trains, they'll do like 5 or 6 sprints with 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes rest sometimes in between. And that's their workout. But then you have an average stockbroker off the street going in and doing 10 times that. Like no wonder you're getting injured and burnt out.
Yeah. You can't go that high intensity with that high of volume. Yeah. You got to give one or the other.
Yeah. So totally. So anything, so high intensity stuff is speed stuff. Like I said, sprints, jumps, Olympic lifts, or lifts above 85, 90%. And then high intensity, I said sprints. So then on the next day, like the Charlie Francis high-low, is you do low intensity stuff. So for me, for most average people, I think keeping your heart rate at about 180 minus your age for 30 minutes the next day is a great idea. Now, like you, I'll be bored out of my mind if I do that on a cardio machine. Yeah. So what I might do is take a sandbag out to the beach, hook up a strap behind it, and just do a variety of stuff. Make sure my heart rate's where I want it to be, so it's low enough intensity. And we'll drag it. We'll do face pulls. We'll do presses. I may get down and do some like tie sits and some crawls in between, just a whole variety of stuff. And anybody can do that. Or you can go to the gym and let's say you jump rope, you hop on the Airdyne, you do some mobility stuff, like mix it up, just do something. But it shouldn't be stressful on your joints. It shouldn't be too heavy of a load. And your heart rate should be about that 180 minus your age. So then it's just low. Then that helps your recovery. If you go too hard and too heavy, it screws up your recovery for the next day.
Yeah.
So I kind of like that approach.
Yeah, I like that. I was just talking to Mark Sisson, I think I don't know if you read this, but in Primal Endurance, there's a guy with the last name Maffetone, and he does that, 180 minus your age. And I think it's like zone 2 training is what you want the bulk of your slow distance, longer, higher volume to be like very low intensity. And to think like, if you don't have a heart rate monitor or you're not good at simple math, it's nose breathing pace. You're either breathing through your nose the whole time or you're able to keep a conversation where you're talking with somebody the whole way. So like twice this week, I've been fucked my knee up in jiu-jitsu about 10 months ago. And I'm finally still getting to a point where now I can run again and squat proper and all that shit. Yeah. So we were doing some higher volume distance stuff on the beach. They would run from Venice to Santa Monica Pier and back, but always at a conversation pace. And we're just talking the whole way and it's super easy and I don't feel exhausted after and my knee feels great. Yeah. But like that type of like, if it's got to be one or the other. Right. It can't be both at the same time. And if you do both at the same time, that has to be competition. Right. Right. That's like your football game or fucking the race, the half marathon you sign up for, in 8 weeks down the road. That's the time where you go hard and long. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
So what has influenced your diet throughout all this? Because, training people, you come to understand very quickly, like I can train somebody beautifully for an hour and teach them all the things. And it's the 23 hours they spend away from me that matters the most for inflammation, for fat loss, for all the things, even cognitive function, energy throughout the day and how they recover. Yeah. How has that changed over time?
So like training, I've tried every single thing that's ever come out, since like 87, 88, I've been experimenting with stuff all the time. And what I say to most people is, because obviously I get it. Like people are confused. Should I be vegan? Should I be keto? Should I do paleo? Should I be intermittent fasting? Like nobody knows what's going on. And even people I know who are really smart, really successful multimillionaires are like, dude, I don't know what to do with nutrition. I'm like, I get it. It's overwhelming. So start with something super basic and simple. Eat real food first and foremost. Before you jump on any kind of bandwagon, eat real food that people could have eaten hundreds of years ago. Like it shouldn't come from a box or a bag. Do that.
Yeah, it's got to be a living food, not a dead food. Yeah. If it's on a shelf that doesn't need to be refrigerated, it's dead. Yep. That's a pretty good rule of thumb.
Yeah, totally. So if you do that, then you can start to, do that, make that a habit. Then you're like, okay, I want to enhance my cognitive function. I want to sleep better, whatever. Okay, so then when can we look at changes? Like, how much are you training? What's your sleep like? What's your stress like? And then we can kind of determine what's your body fat like, how many carbs you could tolerate. If you're leaner and you're training a lot, you probably have more carbs. You'll have a lot more sweet potatoes, more fruit, whatever. If you're at the opposite end of the spectrum, I would probably say don't have any carbs. Just limit it to vegetables for a while. And protein, I would say protein's certainly overhyped. Like back in the bodybuilder days, I was eating like 400 grams a day, Now I'll
2 to 2.5 grams per pound, right?
Yeah, I think that's crazy. I think like the 0.8 is enough, or even 1 gram if you want per pound of body weight. Like I'll usually be in there. And then I've moved over the last couple of years because, as you know, a lot of research has pointed towards higher fat being better for cognitive function and preventing Alzheimer's and lower carb inflammation. Mm-hmm. So I've moved towards that. That said, I haven't really done. I mean, I did keto back in whenever Mauro Di Pasquale had the anabolic diet and Dan Duchaine and stuff like that. Yep. So
fucking Dan Duchaine, that's a name I haven't heard in a long time. Yeah. That's an OG.
I'm thinking that's like 94 to 96 because I did that for 2 or 3 years.
Oh, wow. So that was early on. That was before it really blew up to where it is right now.
Yeah, totally. Okay. So I did that for a while back then. And like I said, the last 2 years I've done that, but I haven't gone super low carb. I haven't gone back to keto or anything like that. I'd still, like today's an off day, so I might have no carbs today. But yesterday I had 200 grams of carbs. So
yeah, I think that's a great rule of thumb for people that are like, I mean, who was it? There's there's a female in the space who cured her autoimmune disease. Damn it. She has like 3 tiers of carbohydrate eating. Obviously, It's all clean sources, but I think the tier 3 is under 150 grams. Tier 2 is under 100 grams a day. And then tier 1 is keto. It's under 50 grams a day.
Yeah.
But like knowing where you fit into that and why.
Yeah.
And then, when you think of it from an athletic standpoint, if I'm on a hard training day, like, yeah, I could fucking get away with more. My body's demanding glycogen restoration in the muscles and the liver, all that stuff. I'm not going to put on fat. I'm not going to get inflammation from it as long as they're clean sources.
Right.
And then on the days when I'm really not doing a whole lot, I don't need it.
Yeah.
Like those carbs last. That glycogen's still in there.
Yeah.
If I'm not burning it out, it's still going to be there.
Totally. And I think one of the things where people are so overwhelmed and confused, what they don't realize is, like I could say a lot of the studies point towards less inflammation and long-term cognitive function and brain health. However, we know that those are not long-term studies done on people like you and I. Mm-hmm. So you want to take that with a grain of salt. Like, yeah, I put a lot of weight into that. I get it. It's science. But The Rock has 1,000 grams of carbs a day. I don't see him with Alzheimer's and forgetting his name. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it does depend.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's good. Like, take it for what it's worth. Okay. But those studies aren't done with you and I and The Rock. You know what I mean? So it doesn't mean that carbs are going to cause you to forget your mom's name in a week. You know what I mean?
Well, and certainly I think with The Rock, like if you look at his muscle mass, his body fat percentage, and the amount that he trains, like everything coming in there, it's going out. It's going in the right places, right?
Yeah. And then I believe a lot of it's your genetics, your heritage, what your ancestors ate.
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt. Have you done any of the genetic testing or anything like that?
I haven't done it yet. No, I haven't on my to-do list.
I think that, and I haven't done DNA Fit yet. I've purchased it. I haven't done it, but I've had other people do DNA Fit and I've looked at it. And because they're based in the UK, they tell you a lot more than 23andMe does.
Oh, okay.
But 23andMe, if you've done that, you can outsource the raw data to DNA Fit for less money. And then one of the things that I like is Dr. Rhonda Patrick on Found My Fitness will take your raw data from 23andMe and she runs it through her machine learning. And it's like a $10 donation. That's all it is.
Holy
it's
crap.
a fucking $10 donation.
I'm doing that for sure.
When she runs it, it's some of the most important like health things you could figure out about yourself. For me and my wife, neither one of us, we don't produce a lot of D3 from sunlight.
Okay.
And we have whatever the D3 hydrogenase or whatever, the enzyme that clears it out is super abundant in both our bodies. So even if we have D3, it's rapidly cleaned out of the body. And so like from there, it's like we can both get away with supplementing with far higher. And my wife's 110, 115 pounds, just half my body weight. And we can get away with supplementing with
so like how much do you use then?
I'll do 20 to 30,000 IUs a day.
Okay. Wow.
She'll do 10,000 IUs a day. And we're still in that 60 to 70 range when we test it with blood work.
Interesting.
It's never getting up to 100.
Right.
And I've had people say like, you can get to 100 for a little while and then you want to back it back down.
Yeah.
But
now since you've upped that through supplements, have you noticed a difference? Like is your immune system better?
Yep. We get sick less often. Generally, I just feel good, and I don't know necessarily that D3, and I don't know if you've read this, but a lot of people say D3 is not even a vitamin now. They consider it a hormone with how much it influences the body and the epigenetic system. But, we feel better with sunlight. Like that's a fucking given. And there's no replacement for sunlight. Like there's infrared saunas and shit like that. And there's some science that they can help with seasonal affective disorder if you live in Seattle, Washington, or the Northeast or fucking Finland. But for the most part, you want sun, right?
Yeah.
But I think there is something to D3 and positive mood. And like, I don't know also if maybe it's just better quality of life and what we're doing now with the job and with our relationship and where we're at with our son. But it does feel like as I supplement with D3 in higher doses that I have a better mood throughout the day too. Yeah. What are some, another one on supplements, what are some of the supplements that you find are like must have critical things that you want everyone to take that you work with?
Well, you just named one of them. I think everybody needs D3, omega-3s. Some kind of multi or mixed green or something like that, just as an insurance policy. I would say those would be the top 3.
Okay.
I like curcumin. I do notice a difference when I take that.
Have you tried Onnit's joint oil?
I haven't tried it yet. No.
Plug.
I will try
I'll
it.
fucking send you out a few bottles of it.
That'd be great.
We have 95 milligrams of curcumin per teaspoon.
Okay.
And it's fish oil plus avocado oil. So and it's super high amount of EPA and DHA with 95. And I think the studies are on 90 mgs of curcumin a day will give you, I think like a 400% less chance of getting Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, or dementia. Like it's some absurd number. It's critically different with just 90 mgs. So in each teaspoon, and I take heaps more than that because I want more of the fish oil, more of the EPA and DHA.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's for sure our best tasting supplement.
Oh,
okay. It tastes like an orange push pop when you're a kid.
Amazing.
Yeah. Like something you get off the ice cream truck. It's fucking legit.
Nice. Yeah, so I take those, and I notice when I run out of curcumin, I notice it. Like that's definitely something that I love to take. And then randomly here and there, if someone sends me something, I'll take it until the bottle is expired or until the bottle's empty. But nothing else regularly, I don't think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Play with creatine, all that jazz.
I've tried creatine a million years, like a million times for years. Like, so when it first came out, it was popular back in Bill Phillips, like in Muscle Media.
What was that? Phosphagen HP.
Exactly. So I was drinking that with grape juice and I was just getting fatter every day.
You got 80 grams of dextrose to fucking cram it in.
Totally. And then every single thing that came out, like the liquid creatine and the gel creatine and the creatine chewies, or you got to take it with, I don't know what else you had to take it with. I tried everything. It never did anything.
Don't have it with caffeine. Oh, you didn't think it
never did anything.
Did you get bloated at all?
Nothing.
Didn't help with strength?
Zero.
Are you big into caffeine while you were taking it?
No, I never started drinking coffee till a few years ago.
Oh, fuck. I wonder. Yeah, I didn't drink coffee at all until I finished when I retired from fighting. Now I'm a fucking addict.
Yeah, me too.
I've taken some time off, but every time I do, it's like I have fucking migraine headaches. It's the worst.
Really?
It's the worst drug to come off of.
Yeah.
There's a lot of withdrawals. But yeah, they say that they counterbalance each other, I guess, because the adenosine.
No, I just never got anything.
I've liked creatine in the past, and it helps with strength and like explosiveness, the way the science shows.
Sure.
But there is a threshold if I've been on it for longer than 2 weeks, or if I'm doing like a loading phase, which is total bullshit also, then I will get bloated. And I don't like carrying the water weight from it. But the reason I ask is because, Greenfield and some of these other people, they're calling it a nootropic because anything that influences ATP, with the most abundant places in the body for ATP production are the heart and the brain. Because we have the most amount of mitochondria there. So anything that would influence more ATP from the mitochondria is going to be in those two organs. So it should help with cognitive function and cognitive energy. And I just think of it in terms like that because that's why I got into keto. I'm like constantly looking for ways to improve cognitive function. So I wondered if anybody was playing with
I've
that.
always just been like, I think one of those rare creatine non-responders.
Have you fucked with beta-alanine at all?
A little bit. That was like one of those things where a company sent me a bottle and I used it and then I just never use it.
I love it. We have
I'm drawing. Is that the one that makes you tingly?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
So we have one that's it's time released.
Okay.
And they're tablets, and so it's less tingles. I don't get tingles at all from it, but like that really does help with endurance.
Okay.
Major.
Yeah.
Those are good ones.
Yeah. I like what's the cordyceps product that I'm thinking of?
Shroom Tech Sport.
Yeah.
Man.
You just mentioned endurance.
Yeah, that works for sure.
Yeah. Like I've used that. When you guys have sent me stuff, I love that. I love Alpha Brain. But again, I'm just not like the best supplement taker. Like I'll just take a few things once in a while, and then I forget too. Like if I go away for a week, I bring a huge bag of pills and I forget to take them every day. I don't know why. Like if they're in my cabinet and I open them and put them in my hand, I take them. When I go away, I always forget to take them.
I think once you find balance in your training and you're eating really clean, that supplements are a nice addition to round it out, but they're not necessary because you are getting the vast majority of what you need from your diet.
Totally. Yeah.
And people have this idea when they get into their own health and wellness that supplementation will fix a shitty diet or a lack of sleep or overtraining. And that never works long term. It might work in the short term for a little bit. You might feel a bump, but you're paying for shit on credit, basically.
Totally. Yeah. And then back in the day, I would try every supplement thinking I was going to wake up jacked out of my mind, and that never happened, obviously.
Yeah. That's awesome, brother. Well, shit, we're talking about cordyceps. I'm going to try a 30-day reset. Did you ever hear Paul Stamets on Joe Rogan's? So Stamets is like the mushroom guy. He's
Okay.
one of the smartest mushroom mycologists in the world. Has a TED talk on 6 way mushrooms will save the world.
Oh,
He's a fucking amazing guy. And the 6 ways, it has nothing to do with psilocybin, but he's also well-versed in psilocybin.
Okay.
So he has a 30-day brain reset where you microdose psilocybin, magic mushrooms, and you take
Every day?
every day for 30 days. Now, Dr. Jim Fadiman, who wrote the Psychedelic Explorer's Guide, he states you want to take a psychedelic every 4th day if you're microdosing, because anything more often than that, your brain will start to downregulate it and you won't feel anything,
I thought,
right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Stamets' argument is that psilocybin increases neurogenesis, so extra new brain cells in the brain, new neuronal connectivity that's already backed by science. And he's saying if you take it daily, you won't feel it after a few days, but it's still working on the brain.
Okay.
So you have, I think it's 100 milligrams a day. It's like 1/10 of a gram, which you might only feel on day one. And then 500 milligrams of lion's mane, which is great for the central nervous system in the brain. And then I think 500 milligrams of cordyceps sinensis for ATP and mitochondrial function. But that's a 30-day program.
Wow.
So I'm going to try that with my wife at some point this year.
Okay, let me know how that goes.
Yeah, I'm pumped.
I have a friend of mine who's doing, and I'd be interested in trying this too, who's doing quarterly, every 90 days, a small dose of mushroom to kind of just work through some stuff. And she said that for 90 days after that, her anxiety, her stress is always way down. Like it's harder for her to get mad and angry and stressed out. And it's kind of like keeping at bay some stuff that she had going on and whatnot.
Yeah. Well, I think it's good to check in with yourself. You know, like it's good to have those check-ins, and certainly a daily practice, some form of meditation and things like that. And I want to ask you about that in a second. But the deeper work where you actually can dig through some shit, yank the curtains back and take a look at what's going on inside. I think that's where the plants really help, because it's like I might be hiding stuff from myself on how I really feel about a situation, or you know, I feel anxiety, but I can't really source where it's from. And then it's like, oh, I have a fear of losing my job, or I have a fear my wife will leave me, or I have a fear, you know, whatever, fill in the blank. And to be able to see where that is, to shed light on it and bring awareness to it, really is what evaporates the fucking thing, right?
Yeah.
What, you know, what practices do you have for clearing your head and calming down? And because you're, you know, I mean, a guy like you or a guy like Aubrey that has so much going on, there has to be that kind of balance of how do I get my mind right?
Yeah.
So how do you get your mind right?
Yeah. So I do meditate. I used to meditate without fail. I probably had like a 7-year streak where I was 30 minutes a day every day. And now it's down to 2 5-minute sessions, which is probably not good. Like I know Russell Simmons or someone would yell at me like, that's not good. Means I probably need more meditation. But I still get that in. I use the Holosync app. I don't know if I started with that.
I started with that too. That was my first foray into binaural beats.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've ever heard the guy. I think his name's Bill something.
Bill Harris.
Bill Harris.
Yeah.
Do you like him? He was on Greenfields. He came across like the head of an MLM scheme. Like he was he was very.
I talked to him a couple times, and that was what
business doucher, but his product fucking works.
Right.
That's all that matters to me. I don't give a shit what your personality type is. Like his product fucking works. It still works. I still have it on my phone.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's a go-to for me. I tried using Headspace, but I wasn't a big fan of that.
Couldn't get into that either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I go to the Flow Tank once a week. I have a standing appointment 52 weeks a year. So I spend 2 weeks.
That's fucking amazing. How long do you go? 90 minutes?
2 hours.
Oh, 2 hours.
Yeah, I go to the one right up here on the boardwalk. Been to that one?
No, I got to check it out because I just did a float. My wife got me a float for Christmas. And so I finally did a 90-minute float out in Austin on 50 micrograms of LSD with ketamine nasal spray. It was the first time I got to combine the two.
Jeez,
and what's cool is, Dan's going to get me going down the rabbit hole for a second. What's cool is John Lilly, the guy who invented the float tank, he was a medical doctor who was funded by the Navy and was getting pharmaceutical LSD from Sandoz Labs, where Albert Hoffman had created it. Pharmaceutical grade, he would inject 300 micrograms intravenous.
Wow.
And then jump into a fucking float for 10 hours.
Holy shit.
And fucking trip balls.
Yeah,
like
I would imagine.
ayahuasca DMT level for 10 hours.
Jeez.
And he has 20 trip reports that he wrote these completely out. Like they're the most detailed trip reports I've ever seen because they were for the military. He
Yeah.
was writing these out for the military. And there's a book called Center of the Cyclone, which is awesome. And it's awesome in the sense that it teaches you what's possible. Like, oh, there's some shit. Like if I can leave my body and if there is something spiritual, it shows you like there is a way to get there. You know, like there's many ways to get there. And then once you're there, you can fucking run into some really fantastic shit that you would just unimaginable, right? So he was a fascinating dude. And then I think he had experimented, also funded by the Navy, with giving dolphins LSD.
Oh, I've heard about this.
Yeah. And then later, he really got into ketamine in the float tank, and he would do like a ketamine drip. He was one of the first guys. Obviously, that's huge now in depression.
Yeah,
and it's legal. You can go to plenty of places. I know there's some out here in Santa Monica that a lot of people have gone to for the ketamine treatment for depression. But he would run that in the float. So I was like, let me fucking combine the two of these and see what happens. And it was awesome.
Really?
It was super deep. One of the most meditative and colorful floats I've ever had. You know, you close the damn thing and it's pitch black and it just went into like a kaleidoscope of blue, like ambient light.
That sounds amazing.
It was beautiful.
Yeah. So I haven't gone to that level. I went for a year straight because I wanted to get good at it, you know? And then now I only go with an edible. I'll take like 5 milligrams before I go in.
That's perfect.
It's great. I get so much more out of it with that.
Yeah. I think, and then Rogan's big into that. That's the one that I haven't tried. I've tried mushrooms, acid, ketamine now with acid. I have not done cannabis. And I think we were talking about that when I went on your show, that cannabis for now, it's funny because I was here in Cali when it went recreational.
Yeah.
I was in Vegas when Nevada went recreational. Okay. And now I live in Texas where it's fucking never going to be recreational.
Right. Yeah.
But I think ayahuasca really toned down my tolerance for cannabis.
Okay.
So if I have like the Jambo spray, and those guys are out of here, it's a 1 mg spray. If I mess with that at 1 or 2 pumps, I feel great.
Okay.
But if I get above 5 milligrams, I'm fucked.
Really?
Like I cannot quiet my mind. The negative chatter, the paranoia, the anxiety. It's no good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but that's huge. And I've had crazy breakthroughs. Like I figured shit out about myself in there. Business problems, things that I couldn't even solve. I was like, I can't figure out how to do this for weeks and weeks. I go in there and figure it out. And then one day I came home and I was freaking out. I ran into my wife, Jen, and I rattled off these 5 names. And she's like, who is that? What are you talking about? And I go, those are the kids that used to beat the shit out of me and make fun of me and threw me in the lake, and at a birthday party threw me in the pool. And I was like, and that's why I did this, this, and this. And that's why I've had this chip on my shoulder. It was crazy. And I couldn't, like, if you paid me, I couldn't think of those kids' names for all those years because I'd kind of blocked it out and kind of suppressed it, you know?
I think that's one of the incredible things about the float is that, you know, even if I meditate in a dark room that's completely quiet, it could be pitch. You could go to a fucking cave and you have memory foam underneath your ass. But if you're still sitting upright, you have gravity.
Right.
You have to stack your bones properly.
Yeah.
You can get tired. You could be tight when you try to get into that position if you haven't done yoga or some type of body movement to open up any of these impingements. And, you know, getting into that, like you're still dealing with the elements, and there's information constantly streaming in. A car drives by. You know, you hear somebody talking in the background just outside your door. Shit like that. And you get in the float tank, it's dead silent. The temperature's set to skin temperature. So after a while, your fingers feel like they're all touching one another. Then you can't feel your arms or your legs anymore. You're just a floating fucking head. You know?
Love it.
Yeah, it's such an amazing thing. But without when the brain doesn't have any external stuff coming in, it really can dive deep into creativity, unpacking trauma, all sorts of cool shit.
Yeah. I mean, dude, something as simple as traveling does that, you know, like when you're in your home base and you have work and everything, you're stressed out, like just traveling. Even if I have my laptop, my phone, I always have new kind of thought processes, just driving around. But especially if you take a trip, like last year we went to Iceland and Montana, both trips I didn't have my phone. And that was meditated for like a week straight. You know, I was like, dude, I feel amazing. Like my anxiety was down. Like
What were you doing in Montana? Did you go hunting?
No, both. We just went and just hung out. We were just we were in Glacier and just chilling. And both trips, I was totally unplugged. And oh my God, amazing.
In Finland, was it the other place? Iceland.
Yeah.
In Iceland, did you do any of the fucking ice plunges and hot saunas?
Yeah. We did
it's
all
so
that.
big in those Nordic countries.
Yeah.
Like it's like we're just now figuring that shit out. It's like that's an important.
Iceland was an amazing. Have you been?
Mm-mm.
Amazing trip. I'd recommend it. And I didn't even have it on my radar to go. My friend was going. He told me about a week before he went, and I was like, I should go. He's like, yeah, come. So we just hopped on. It was great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So talk business now. You obviously you have the podcast, and you know it's funny because when I got into podcasting, I was thinking like, I mean everybody looks at Rogan as like the holy grail, and they're like, guy makes 15 fucking grand per sponsor per episode. Like that shit adds up at least that much, you know.
Yeah,
and it's
I was
like,
gonna say, I think it's a little more.
It's It's like that's like what 75 grand an episode if he's got 5 sponsors, you know, and he's doing 5 a week, like. So you start doing math like that and you're thinking like, oh, this is how I'll pay all the bills. But I remember getting into podcasting, and then I met Aubrey before I started working on it. And I only had a podcast. It was after I was fighting. And I had good sponsorship. So it was like still kind of in that mindset. And he was like, well, that's cool, but what else are you doing? And I was like, I'm not really, I don't have anything else, you know? And he's like, do you write? Do you want to write a book? Like, what do you, and I was like, no, not really yet. You know, maybe I'll learn. And he was like, so you're just doing the podcast? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, you got to use the podcast as a tool for whatever else you're going to do. And I went on Mind Pump, and they were telling me like, look, sponsors are great. They can help pay the bills. They can, you know, if you have monthly income coming in, you can kind of set that to outsource. Like this is where it'll help with the rent. This is where it'll help with whatever to bring in new stuff to the studio or to fly guests in. But it's what programming you give to people, your intellectual property that you sell. Then they do a lot of programming. I think they have one called Maps. That, you know, it's like $100 a month. But I mean, if you have 10,000 people sign up for that, that's a fucking grip of cash coming in each month, right?
Yeah.
And it's just your intellectual property. It's a service. It's not goods. You don't have to move anything. It doesn't cost you anything other than time. What are some of the, and we talked about this before, I think, before the podcast about some of the private groups you have, like mastermind groups, things like that. Talk a bit about the business that you've constructed to go along with Renegade Radio.
So yeah, I mean, so like I said, at the beginning, it was just, I owned the gym for 15 years and that was all I did. And then I started writing in 2001, and I was on the sports specific Q&A section of Elite FTS.
Okay.
Dave Tate
yeah. That's a fucking awesome site.
Yeah. And back then it was pretty good company. It was Buddy Morris, who was the Browns strength coach. Joe Ken, who is now the Panthers strength coach.
That's my dude. That was my coach in college.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Big house.
Big house, dude. I love Joe.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. He was a big influence of mine too. Tier system, all that.
Yep. Yeah. The cover of that book is him and Uwe, who was the assistant.
Oh, no way.
And then Mark Uyama, Uwe, he went on to be the head strength coach of the 49ers when Joe Ken was the head strength coach.
World.
Yeah. And then now I think Uwe's with the Vikings. But yeah, Joe Ken, only coach to win strength coach of the year in Division I football and the fucking NFL.
Yeah.
Savage.
Yeah. Savage.
Great
Amazing.
guy.
Yeah. So, how the hell? Oh, so it was those two guys, Thomas Lindsay, who was the Steelers strength coach at the time. Martin Rooney, and I think it was me. It was amazing. And so I did that, and then
That's
I started
a good cast to be with.
Yeah. And then I started selling my own ebooks and online program in 2003. And I literally think there was like 6 people in fitness doing it at the time, and I was one of them. But I wasn't making a ton of money. I was making a few $100 a month doing that. Then Men's Fitness did a 1-page article on me, had a picture and a link to my website. And for the next 6 weeks straight, and this is how different the world was back then, for the next 6 weeks straight, I made $300 a day. And I was like, holy crap, like I'm not good at math, but I know that's 6 figures. That's amazing. So I really started working on, okay, I can't be in the gym 12 hours a day forever. Like, and I want to reach more people. I want to have some passive income going. So I kind of figured that out over the next 3 years. And then in 2006, I really put a lot of focus into it. And it's been great ever since then. Even though I remained in the gym, I still was making really good money online since then. So there's been that. This year, actually, 2019 is the 10-year anniversary of my monthly coaching site, the Renegade Strength Club.
Okay.
So we're redoing that. We're doing like a 10-year relaunch kind of celebration for that, which would be really cool. Yeah. So And then I started the podcast 5 years ago, never thinking I was going to monetize it or anything like that. I was just going to kind of do it and have fun. And then, so I didn't take on any sponsors the first 2 years. And then what's funny is it became stressful because last year the podcast made more money than I used to make, at least for like my first 10 years training people, working 12 hours a day on the gym floor. So of course, when it starts making money, then it becomes a more serious business. You got to hire more people and take it more seriously, So that's a mistake I made where for 20 years I had one business. The last few years I've had 4 businesses kinda, and it's become really stressful. And I only really noticed that, I'd say the tail end, last third probably of last year. I was like, man, this is getting to be way too much. It's going to be overwhelming.
Yeah.
And it was hypocritical of me because I always tell people, read the one thing at least once a year, read Essentialism, do less, practice 80-20. And I was getting away from that.
Yeah.
Which I think as a business owner or entrepreneur, anyone, like we all know a lot of cool people. We have a lot of cool opportunities. We see this guy doing that, Aubrey's doing this, and this guy's doing that. We're like, I should do all these things,
Yeah.
And then what's really dangerous is when you have a little success in doing one of those things, you're like, oh, I could be as good as The Rock at this or something like that,
Yeah.
And the reality is I can't. I realize that. And I'm happier when I do just 1 or 2 things and try to do a million things. And some of the things you don't have to monetize. I think that's a mistake that I made. And people, a lot of people I've noticed make like, I'm good at this, so I should make it part of my business. I should incorporate this and I should monetize that. It's like, maybe just make that your passion or your side project or your hobby or something you do with friends, Like, I think nobody knows more about old school hip hop and lyrics than I do, but doesn't mean I should write a book about it or teach a college class on it, Yeah. And I was kind of doing the equivalent of that. So, and then what advice I give to people that are starting a new podcast is, and so I was at some kind of business event recently in November, and there was a podcast roundtable, and I was sitting there. A bunch of new podcasters was saying, "Should I do this? Should I do that?" And what I was saying to new guys, like, if you don't know a lot of people and you don't have a good following, you're not connected, I wouldn't just do what we're all doing and having guests on. It should just be your audio content. So if you write a blog, like I don't have you as guest post of Monday, and then Aubrey's the Tuesday guest post, and then Luca's writing the guest post, and then Joe DeFranco's writing. Like, it's just me. You know what I mean? Yeah. On your YouTube channel, it's just you. So why not make that your audio content? So I tell a lot of new podcasters, and even my friend Luca was cracking up because this dude was like, "Yes, I want to do this." And what I told him was like, make it your audio content. 5 days a week, I would do a 10-minute show, and you just teach something like how to squat or how to build muscle or how to reduce inflammation.
I think those short podcasts are fucking blowing up right now.
Totally, yeah.
And I'm not doing that shit, but I think they're fucking awesome.
But I think people should do that. Because again, it just doesn't make sense. Like, why jump in and do the same thing that everyone else is doing, especially if not a lot of people know you don't have a big following. And so the guy's like, oh yeah, that's great. When will you come on? And I go, dude, I'm not coming on. Nobody should come on. You're not listening to what I'm saying. It's just you.
Did you just hear me?
Yeah.
When are you going to come on? I just need you for an hour. I said 10 minutes. I said you're not having a guest.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fucking great.
Yeah.
So what do you got? You got all this stuff that you're talking about business wise. What do you have coming out that you want to tell people about and get the word out about?
Just really, like I said, Renegade Strength Club. We're working on just kind of just ramping that back up for the 10-year anniversary, and that's it. Really, nothing new. I'm trying to scale back stuff because, like you mentioned, I have the higher end kind of business and life coaching mastermind group that I run. Love doing that. Last year we did 10 events. This year I'm cutting it back to 4 or 5 because it was too much.
Yeah, that's what we're doing with Fit for Service, which is Aubrey's year-long mastermind group.
Yeah.
Just quarterly events where we meet up, and a lot, like every day we're on Instagram. We do Instagram lives once a week. He has monthly phone calls on Zoom personally, that he's with, and there's 4 coaches in the group. But it is like, let's not bite off more than we can chew with this. That way people get what they're paying for and they get value from it, but neither him or I are just fucking overrun because there's other shit going on. You know, like they're still on it. There's still the podcasts. There's still travel. There's still family life. There's still so much more.
Yeah, 100%. And I think I need to take my own advice that I give to other people is like, you got to do what you're most passionate about, what you love the most, not stuff that drains you. If you can only do one thing, what would it be? And I've kind of had these signals recently where that was drawing me back to that. When just the universe is pointing you in a certain direction. Yeah. Like I was in a couple NFL weight rooms recently, and just different things have happened. Like, so backstage the other night at Monday Night Raw, I'm in the Phoenix Suns weight room working with one of the WWE guys, and I missed the whole show. And so a couple of my friends whose names you'd recognize come in, some of the wrestlers, they're like, bro, the show's over. Everyone's leaving the building. We're going to go eat. And I'm working with my, I'm sweating. I'm so into it. I'm teaching him the roll of like the big toe and the squat, and I'm aligning his spine and stuff like that. And I'm adjusting his subscap. And I'm like, this is what I love doing. So they're like, are you going to come? I'll find you guys later. Don't worry about it. and then afterwards, they all said to me, they're like, dude, that's your one thing. Like, that's what you should be doing. Yeah. That's why I know I got to trim and like scale back on some of the other stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
That's awesome, bro. Yeah. Well, where can people find you online? Where can people find, obviously, Renegade Radio podcast?
Yeah. J.fit, JAY.fit will send you to my main website, and then J Ferruggia on Instagram.
Fuck yeah, brother. It's been excellent having you. Thank you,
man. Appreciate it.
Thank you, brother.
It was awesome.